You're listening to Thursday Night AMP on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
For the listeners, I will elucidate my position, and you can decide for yourself whether or not I'm actually taking a side on this. But my feeling is, if you spent anywhere from $35 to $250 or potentially even more for a ticket to a WWE event, and you also have to pay for parking, and you're probably going to go out to dinner before the show or after the show, and you're going to have gas money to drive to and from the show unless you live within walking distance, you are making a huge investment. And to me, when you make that kind of investment and then you say fuck you to the performers by doing something that distracts from what they're doing, why did you even spend all that money? If you're that disinterested in it, why did you waste money on something that you don't even care about? Just stay home and not spend all that money. That to me is just logical thinking. That I'm not saying whether or not it's right or wrong to protest. I'm saying the person who spends all that money to protest is a stupid individual.
And while I agree with Stevie, the best way to protest is not to give WWE your money. Yeah, I can also see fans who are buying tickets to these events well in advance before stupid shit drops like Jason Jordan being Kurt Angle's son. These fans who go to these shows that are like 12 hours long and are expected to sit there and just twiddle their thumbs. And yeah, I mean, the beach balls came out during Sheamus and Cesaro, and, you know, honestly, the fans, they came to see Brock Lesnar. You know, they came to see Shinsuke Nakamura. On Raw, you know, they really didn't come to see Finn Balor, and they didn't come to see Jason Jordan. You know, they came to see Roman Reigns, or they came to see Brock Lesnar. Whoever they came to see, it's not going on during the main event, and I have no problem with fans getting bored and pulling out beach balls as a form of protest. I've heard people say, oh, it's the fans trying to get themselves over. No, a beach ball is anonymous. Once a beach ball has left your hand, nobody knows where that beach ball came from. Stevie,
no, that's not true, because they threw out the people who brought the beach balls, so they know where the beach balls came from.
Security knows that, but other fans don't. The people watching on TV don't. You know, that's not somebody trying to get them over in that sense. Like you made the argument of somebody dressing up like Hogan with the feather boa and everything and flexing. That is a fan trying to get themselves over. A fan with a beach ball is just bored. And as someone else so eloquently put it, you know, I will take 500 beach balls over one laser pointer, which was happening during the Attitude Era when WWE was at the height of things. And a beach ball is innocuous. It's not going to hurt anyone.
I'm not saying a beach ball hurts anyone, but I am saying it's in a way that's rude to the performers, because even if it's not any one person drawing attention to themselves by doing it, it's drawing attention away from the ring and away from the match to playing with the beach ball and to watching security confiscate the beach balls, and makes a big distraction. To me, it's the same thing as if you pay hundreds of dollars to go to a UFC fight and two drunken idiots start a brawl in the crowd and everybody's looking at the drunken idiots instead of the actual fighters in the cage.
You can't unbuy a ticket, too. If you go to a show and you're bored and you happen to have a beach ball, I have no problem with that. If WWE doesn't want beach balls bouncing around at their shows, WWE should put better matches on in the ring. You don't see this kind of thing happening in New Japan. I mean, I haven't watched much ROH, but I haven't seen this happen in ROH either. I think if you put on better matches, you're not going to see beach balls bouncing around. The reason you're seeing beach balls bouncing around is because they put on such a piss-poor product in the middle of the ring.
And the reason this probably seems like it's actually an argument between the two of us is because, to me, there's a certain amount of pre-planning that goes into the thinking that I'm going to be bored during this show that I paid lots of money for, so I'm going to bring a beach ball with me. If you're actually planning that, then you're a fool, and you and your money should be parted.
And we were getting into this, too, with signs. You know, I don't see it any less distracting with a beach ball than people who bring these giant signs and these giant printouts of people's giant heads. A beach ball is a lot less obtrusive to a person's view than these stupid signs and giant heads people bring. And there's a lot of thought and planning that goes into that, too.
And let me just speak to that perspective, because I have been that Mark. I have been that guy who took signs to crowds just to be seen in the crowd waving my sign on television. I've been there. I've done that. But I also realize it can be obnoxious and it can be overdone. And if somebody asks you to put the sign down because you can't see, you put the fucking sign down.
My point is this. You're saying protest WWE by not buying tickets. Well, the thing is, people don't buy tickets to see WWE. They buy tickets to see the wrestlers. So how do you protest WWE and support the wrestlers at the same time? The problem is none of us have a good answer for that.
I agree. And that's where I finally came to the conclusion during our back and forth on the app chat that the problem is if you're somebody that goes to work for WWE, you're going to have to accept that this is your reality, that you may make a comfortable living compared to what you made on the indies, but you're also going to have to deal with fans that get so bored during shows that you might be out there busting your ass and they're playing with a beach ball. That's the deal that you signed up for.
Yes, and I hate to say this because it's going to sound bad, but it's kind of like they sold their soul to the devil.
Yes, I agree.
They are no longer professional wrestlers. They are sports entertainers.
They are superstars.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing we all agreed on in the course of the discussion. Go ahead, Abby.
And I don't want to say it because I know that some of these guys actually do care about their art form and care about their career. But these days, it's like if you go to WWE, you're going for a paycheck. You're not going to be a better professional wrestler. You're not going to be a more legitimate professional wrestler. You're not going to be you're not going to be taken as seriously as you would be if you're on the indies. I mean, WWE is the biggest stage. Yes, it is, yada, yada, yada. But it's also such a big joke in so many ways.
Well, I have the perfect example for you, Abby, and it's Kota Ibushi. This man cares passionately about his craft. He wants to develop the art of professional wrestling and take it to places it's never been before, and he's willing to try and experiment and do crazy things that would never be done in WWE, so he doesn't want a WWE contract. Even when they offered him a substantial deal, he said, no thank you, I know what I'm signing up for if I take this deal, and I don't get to be the artist I want to be anymore.
And thank you, Kota Ibushi, for not signing with WWE, and thank you, Kota Ibushi, for being the MVP of the G1. You put on some awesome matches there. You made the right call 100%.
And that's like, I'm going to go back to this Kenny Omega interview last night. If you listen to him talk about, and he talks about how close he was or how not close he was to signing with WWE and why this past year. And you can tell by just listening to the man and what he's doing in New Japan and why he's doing it and how he's doing it. This is somebody that cares about what he's doing. He cares about the company he's in. He cares about the people that are in the company. And because of that, it makes it easy for us to care about those things too.
It's like he said even in other interviews that he wants to be the leader for not just himself, but for the company and for all the other boys in the locker room. He wants to take New Japan to even bigger heights.
Yeah, but he cares about how it's presented, and he cares about the fans and giving them their money's worth. And I talk about this lack of emotional investment with so many things, and Omega is one of the guys that continuously keeps me emotionally invested in this business.
And that's because he is emotionally invested in what he's doing.
Exactly. And you can hear it when he talks, and you can see it when he's in the ring, and it's so easy to care about the things that he's doing, and in turn, the people around him are doing, because they all care about it too. And the company cares about it. Whereas WWE, I don't know what the fuck they care about, because it's so random. And it's so nonsensical, and it's like, they don't care about the fans because they have a whole show dedicated to calling them stupid. They obviously don't care about the wrestlers because the format they give them either makes them look ridiculous or is purposefully done to punish them or take them down or whatever. And it's like, why should I care about this when obviously nobody that's there cares enough about themselves or has enough respect in their craft to stand up and say, this is unacceptable. I know there's a handful there that do care, but they don't do anything about it, and it just comes off as so, I don't even have the words for it.
Well, then to get it back full circle to where we started with this discussion, that's why I can't really fault Cesaro for what he did, because I know, and I actually knew him a little bit before he got onto the WWE roster, that Claudio Castagnoli is a guy who cares about his craft and is very serious about it. So
Yeah.
from my perspective, what he did was perfectly acceptable. He's like, you guys are focusing on the wrong thing. Focus on the match. I was okay with that.
And it's the juxtaposition between what Cesaro did at SummerSlam and what John Cena did on Raw.
Yeah, John Cena exacerbated and made it worse. Go ahead.
Yeah, after the show was over, he applauded the fans that brought the beach ball and did the wave and called the security guards that took it away assholes.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this sports entertainer and this goofy-ass son of a bitch. I don't care how many good things he does. In the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, he's a fucking goof when it comes to this stuff. You have him saying, oh, keep doing it. It's great. It's wonderful. It's entertaining. I love you guys for showing so much passion. And then you have a professional wrestler who goes out there and grabs that fucking beach ball, rips it apart and says, hey, I'm having a match here.
Yeah.
There's a handful of people in WWE I give a damn about. And that's why I keep watching the damn thing, along with the fact that, I have to because it's part of my job.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a handful. The other ones I could give two shits about because I know that they're just there to get a paycheck. They show it in everything they do and how they do it.
And I do agree with you then that there's the conflict where we have the wrestlers that we care about and the shit that we don't, and how do we protest the bad shit and still support the wrestlers that we care about. And that's where I'm stuck with guys like Shinsuke Nakamura is, I want to watch it because I want to watch him, but damn it, there's so much other bad shit around him that it makes it really hard to do.
Yeah, and then you watch him and it's like, he could be so much more than what he is, and why isn't he? And it just pisses you off even more.
And we've seen him be so much more than he is before he got to WWE. Even in NXT.
Even down in NXT.
Yeah. We've seen it in New Japan. We've seen it in NXT. We've seen he can be so much better than he is on the main roster. And that's one reason that I really fear and really don't want Asuka to get called up to the main roster. I mean, the main roster managed to fuck up the unfuck-upable Bayley. Imagine what they can do to Asuka.
I know, you've got people booing Bayley now, and that's just, they booed her at SummerSlam. And it's like, really? They booed her at TakeOver. Like, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's so sad. It just breaks my heart because she was another one of those that could have been a game changer like Nakamura. But let's not go with what works. Let's try to fit her into this cookie cutter mold that everybody else is in. No, these are not cookie cutter talents.
Yeah. I'm depressed now. I don't know what to add to that because it just sucks.
And I hate to say this, but we all we said in group chat tonight, God, I don't want to do SummerSlam. Let's just talk about them long enough to bury them. And we've done an hour and a half. Well, actually an hour since it took a while to get everybody on the line. But it's like WWE is what people want to hear about and what people want to talk about. And true, it's 70% bitching, moaning, and complaining. But it's like, this is where the eyes are. But the eyes aren't there for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm. And that's the 70-30 dilemma. I'm just going to start calling it that from now on. It's like 70% shit and 30% things we care about because it's the biggest company in the world. We have to put up with the 70% for the 30 that we do.
And I said that after SummerSlam, if it was up to me, I would be done with WWE after SummerSlam and I would only deal with the Japanese stuff and the British Indies because it's so good and it's so entertaining and the talent is so real and you can connect with them so wonderfully. And then you got WWE that's just,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, maybe we should wrap it up on that note because I don't know what to add about it other than that. I think we've said all there is to say.
Yeah,
Unless
can we
there's
talk
news
about
you want to
something
talk about.
other than WWE? There's been some news this week. Let's see. Everybody knows Big Cass got injured. He tore his ACL and I think possibly his meningeal meniscus. I think I'm saying that correctly. I don't know. He'll be out for up to 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Minoru Suzuki is coming to the United States, and I have never been more upset that I do not live within 1,000 miles of Las Vegas.
Right.
The man will be on Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor next month. His
And
first
the
match in
TV
the U.S. in a
tapings.
quarter. Yes, his first U.S. matches in a quarter century. And I swear to God, if he does a signing or meet and greet and his table is not overrun, because I cannot get that picture of him when he was at What Culture, just sitting there by himself like Virgil. I can't get that out of my head. I will hunt you down and I will hurt you.
I'm pretty sure the Ring of Honor fans have enough respect for Japanese pro wrestling that he will be swamped.
Take him presents, show him you love him, show him you fear him and respect him, and inundate him with attention. Paige has been cleared of all the charges from that stupid Orlando airport incident between her and Alberto El Patron, so that's now over, apparently.
Right.
The state attorney's office.
Neither one of them looks any good in it, even if they both got cleared.
No, it's a bad situation. I don't think we'll see Paige back in WWE. That's just my opinion.
She keeps teasing it on Twitter.
Well, she can keep teasing it all they want to, but they've taken her off of pretty much everything and never mentioned her, so.
This is true.
Sad news, Dana Brooks' boyfriend, Dallas McCarver, who was a bodybuilder, passed away Monday night.
Yeah, he choked to death on a piece of food.
Yes, and that was very, very sad. She has set up a nonprofit for him. You can find all that information on her Instagram account. It's just tragic.
Yeah, and apparently he was her biggest supporter and the one person who every day told her, you're going to be a huge star in wrestling, I believe in you. So she lost her rock. That was the person she leaned on the most. Yes, very, very sad for her. WWE has signed Leo Rush, which I've never really seen what's so great about Leo Rush. That's just me. This actually became the second most controversial thing other than the beach balls this week, because I know Jason was like, oh, fuck this guy, I don't give a shit. I'm like, we haven't even seen him do anything yet in WWE. Let's at least give the man a chance.